Imagine you are an opposing quarterback, right? It is 3rd and long. You step up to the line of scrimmage and you look to your left.
No, man.
Yeah, and you are staring down TJ Watt. And he is visibly eager to just, tear your helmet off.
Terrifying.
Totally. So you think, okay, I will step up into the pocket. I'll avoid the edge rush. But waiting on the interior is a 300-pound, 19-year veteran.
Right, a guy who has seen literally every blocking scheme ever invented.
Exactly. And he has just collapsed your center directly into your lap. I mean, there's no pocket.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to step. The play is basically over before the ball even leaves your hand.
That is the terrifying reality for offenses in the AFA this year.
It really is. Well, welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're taking this massive stack of notes from the AFA Inside Access show, and, well, we are completely unpacking the 2026 free agency frenzy.
Yeah, the official start of the league's business year.
Exactly. But we aren't here to just, read you a list of trades or rattle off player weights. Our mission for you today is to look at 8 pivotal signings. We want to decode the actual on-field mechanisms behind them.
Right. We're breaking down the strategic chess moves that these front offices are making to build championship rosters.
Okay, let's unpack this. And whether you are a diehard fan or just catching up on the league's landscape, this deep dive is going to give you the ultimate shortcut to understanding the power shifts this season. So let's start with the absolute biggest shockwave of the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes to the DC Defenders.
The ripple effects of this single move they're going to dictate the power dynamics of the entire league.
Absolutely.
Because Mahomes is leaving a Pittsburgh Maulers team that just completely cratered, going 3-11 last season.
Right, a total systemic failure.
Exactly, which resulted in head coach Mike Tomlin getting fired and John Gruden stepping in.
And DC's in this incredibly weird, almost paradoxical spot right now. Under head coach Jerod Mayo, who is entering his 3rd year, they have made the playoffs the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, but they did it with 5-9 records both times.
Right. The offense, led by C.J. Stroud, has just severely struggled to actually put points on the board. They are essentially limping into the postseason, relying entirely on their defense and then getting bounced.
Because if you look at the tape, it shows an offense that was just constantly out of sync.
Yeah.
Stroud has talent, obviously, but DC lacked a quarterback who could manipulate defenses right at the line of scrimmage.
So Coach Mayo looked at his roster and realized they don't need a rebuild.
Right.
They just need like an air traffic controller.
That is a perfect analogy.
Yeah, rather than bringing a veteran surgeon into a chaotic ER, he is an air traffic controller managing a dozen moving pieces at 500 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Let's look at the mechanics of what Mahomes actually brings. We know the stats, right? Drafted in 2018 by the Oakland Invaders.
Led them to the playoffs 6 times.
Won the 2021 Pantheon Bowl. He's a 4-time All-Star, 2019 passing champ, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year.
The numbers are staggering.
Right. 2,555 completions on 3,731 attempts. That is 29,666 yards, 228 touchdowns, and only 103 interceptions.
It is wild.
But how does an 8-year veteran specifically fix DC's red zone stalling?
Well, it comes down to pre-snap processing and eye manipulation.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So when DC gets into the red zone, the field naturally shrinks. Defensive backs have less ground to cover, which makes passing windows significantly tighter.
Right, everything gets compressed.
Exactly. Yeah. And younger quarterbacks, they often stare down their primary read, which, just brings the safeties crashing down right on the receiver.
So they give away the play.
Yeah. But Mahomes does the exact opposite. He identifies the blitz before the snap, alters the protection scheme, and then he uses his eyes to basically hold the free safety on the right side of the field.
While he throws a no-look pass to the left.
Exactly that.
So he is literally changing the mathematical geometry of the defense before the ball's even snapped.
Yep. He provides this immediate floor for DC's offense because he fundamentally changes how defensive coordinators are even allowed to call plays against them.
Wow.
You can't disguise coverages against them because he has already seen that exact look 50 times in his career.
But, bringing in a quarterback who processes the field at light speed is kind of completely useless if his receivers aren't reading that same defensive geometry.
Oh, for sure. Which brings us to the next big shift.
Right. The Memphis Express, who are trying to rebound from a disappointing 6-8 season in 2025, they just paid a massive premium to sign Keenan Allen, giving their quarterback Lamar Jackson a new primary target.
Fascinating move.
It really is. Now, I am looking at these notes, and I have to ask this strategic question. Allen was drafted way back in the second round, 34th overall, in 2014 by Denver out of Cal.
Yeah, he has been around a long time.
Right? Over a decade. Why on earth would Memphis target a guy with that kind of mileage instead of just drafting a 21-year-old speedster who can run a sub 4.340?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, speed only matters if you actually know where you are running.
True.
Memphis didn't sign Keenan Allen to win a foot race. They signed a locksmith.
A locksmith, I like that.
Yeah, because Lamar Jackson doesn't need someone to just run in a straight line. He needs a receiver who understands defensive leverage. Allen brings an exceptional nuance to route running that younger players simply do not possess.
Right. The sources specifically mention his elite body control and nuance in creating separation. He made the All-Star team in 2024, has over 8,500 yards, 40 touchdowns.
Yep, 766 receptions.
But how does he physically create that separation if he is losing that top-end youthful gear?
It is all about attacking the defender's hips and finding the void. Like if you are facing a cover 3 zone, a young speedster will often just sprint directly into the safety's coverage area.
Essentially covering himself.
Exactly. But Allen, he will push vertically to threaten the cornerback, force the defender to flip his hips backward, and then Allen simply stops.
Just slams on the brakes.
Yeah, and he sits down right in that soft spot between the linebackers and the secondary.
So he is using the defender's own momentum against them. He is putting the defensive back in a position where their body mechanics make it literally impossible to break on the ball.
And that is how you become the perfect safety blanket for Jackson. Because when a play breaks down, Allen knows precisely where the quarterback's sight line is, and he adjusts his route to bail him out. He brings an essential veteran presence to what is a pretty young receiver room in Memphis.
I mean, that makes total sense, but I have to admit, looking at the next note in our stack, I am kind of completely confused.
Oh, about Detroit.
Yeah, the Detroit Wheels. If nuance, route geometry, and reading leverage are so critical to the modern passing game, why did Detroit just scoop up Nico Collins from the Gladiators?
Right, because Collins is almost the exact opposite of Allen.
Exactly. I mean, he's not a nuanced locksmith.
No, he is a battering ram.
An undrafted rookie free agent in 2022 out of Michigan, had his best season with Rome in 2024 with 58 receptions, 942 yards, and 10 touchdowns.
Detroit is adopting a completely different offensive philosophy here.
The physical profile is just wild.
Yeah.
He is 6'4", 222 pounds. He is built like a modern linebacker, but he is playing on the outside as an X-receiver. But does being a physical bully actually work against elite AFA cornerbacks who, study tape all day?
It absolutely works because of the mechanics of that X-receiver position.
Yeah.
When you line up out wide right on the line of scrimmage, cornerbacks are going to play press man coverage.
They're going to get physical.
Yeah, they are going to jam you at the line to disrupt the timing of your route. Now, Keenan Allen beats that with quick footwork. Nico Collins beats it by just physically overpowering the cornerback through hand fighting.
Oh, our sources do highlight his exceptional win rates against press. So he is essentially clubbing the defender's hands away.
Exactly. Hand fighting, getting his massive shoulders past the defender, and then using what we call stacking.
Stacking.
Yeah. Once Collins gets a half step on a cornerback, he uses that 222-pound frame to drift back directly in front of the defender, totally shielding them from the ball.
So combining that with his elite catch radius, Detroit's quarterback doesn't even have to throw a perfectly accurate pass.
Nope. Just put it high and outside, and Collins will physically box out the defender like a power forward grabbing a rebound. Detroit isn't looking to trick you. They're looking to physically dominate the boundary.
It is so fascinating how those two receiver signings represent two completely divergent philosophies for moving the football.
Definitely.
But, you can scheme all day against route runners and physical freaks. You cannot scheme around getting hit in the mouth in the trenches.
No, you cannot.
Which brings us to the other side of the ball. We just saw Pittsburgh lose their head coach and a Hall of Fame caliber QB after a brutal 3-11 season.
Right.
So how does new head coach Jon Gruden respond? By aggressively rebuilding the league's absolute worst defense from 2025? Dead last in total defense.
And Gruden knows that if you want to rebuild a broken culture, you have to start at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they signed defensive end Trey Hendrickson, a Florida Atlantic standout, spent 4 seasons with Birmingham, racked up 144 tackles and 41 sacks.
A huge addition.
He joins a unit featuring Josh Hines-Allen on the line, returning inside linebacker Azeez Al-Sher, and safety Kevin Yard. But I have to push back hard on this strategy here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our sources explicitly note that Hendrickson is known for pass rushing productivity, elite hand usage, a relentless motor. But he comes with durability questions and average run-stopping grades.
That is true.
If my defense was ranked dead last year, is an edge rusher with run-stopping question marks really the right foundation to fix it? Isn't that just asking for teams to run the ball down your throat?
Well, this raises an important question about modern AFA defensive math. Decades ago, the cardinal rule of defense was obviously stop the run. But the league's analytical models have completely evolved. Stopping the passing game is paramount now. Front offices are making a calculated trade-off. They are totally willing to sacrifice some run-stopping consistency on the edge if a player provides an elite pass rush. Explain the math there. Like, why is a sack worth giving up a running lane? It is all about expected points added, or EPA. Look, if you give up a 4-yard run on first down, the opposing offense is still on schedule. It hurts, but it is survivable.
Sure.
But if Trey Hendrickson uses his elite hand usage to strip sack the quarterback on second down, or even just force a holding penalty, he creates a 3rd and 15 scenario. Statistically, the chance of an offense converting 3rd and 15 and scoring a touchdown on that drive drops to the very low single digits.
So Gruden is banking on the fact that a single negative play, like a sack, is mathematically way more destructive to a drive than giving up a steady dose of runs.
Precisely. Hendrickson isn't there to set the edge on a toss sweep. He is there to get the opposing offense off the field on 3rd down.
Wow, okay. Now, while Pittsburgh is attacking their defensive woes from the edge, the Baltimore Stallions are trying to fix their 17th ranked defense by clogging up the middle.
A totally different approach.
Yeah, they signed defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, 11th overall pick by Toronto in 2020 out of Clemson. 2-time All-Star, won the 2021 Pantheon Bowl with the Hitmen, has 196 tackles and 24 sacks.
Mechanically speaking, this is the polar opposite of the Hendrickson signing.
Right. I am looking at Lawrence's scouting report, and it reads like a physical anomaly. I have to call him a dancing bear.
A dancing bear.
Yes. The man is 6'4" and roughly 340 pounds. He is a massive, premier, space-eating nose tackle. But the sources point out he possesses what they call unexpected lateral agility and rare size speed traits.
It's scary.
I'm trying to picture a 340-pound human being moving side to side with agility. Moving him must be like trying to move a load-bearing wall, except the wall can casually sidestep you.
The load-bearing wall analogy is perfect, and
Yeah.
it really highlights what he brings: dominant run defense and elite pocket collapse.
How does he mechanically achieve that against, 300-pound offensive linemen?
Well, when an edge rusher like Hendrickson comes around the outside, what does a quarterback do? They step up into the pocket. But Baltimore signed Lawrence to ensure that the pocket just no longer exists.
Oh, man.
Because of his lateral agility, offensive centers just cannot brace for a normal bull rush. Lawrence can cross their face and shoot a gap in a split second. To prevent that, guards have to come over and help.
So now Lawrence is commanding a double team on every single snap.
Exactly. He drops his pad level, gets underneath the shoulder pads of the center and the guard, and simply drives them backward 3 yards.
So if the quarterback tries to step up, he is stepping directly into the backside of his own offensive lineman.
Yep. And because Lawrence commands those double teams, every linebacker behind him in Baltimore's system is suddenly free to roam.
They aren't taking on blocks.
No, they're just diagnosing the play and making the tackle. Lawrence acts as this one-man wrecking crew who elevates the defensive ranking of the entire unit.
Okay, so we've looked at teams desperately rebuilding broken defenses from the ground up, whether that is through edge speed or interior mass.
Right. Rebuilding a broken defense from the ground up is one strategy. But what about teams that are already competitive and just need that final puzzle piece to push them over the edge?
Yeah, let's look at that. The San Antonio Gunslingers. Their defense ranked 16th last season, right in the middle. To jump up, they poached inside linebacker Jordyn Brooks from Chicago's conference-winning team.
Where he had 70 tackles and 2 sacks last year.
And he joins an already star-studded defense featuring linebacker Khalil Mack, D.T. Quinnen-Williams, and safety Julian Love.
It's a terrifying group.
The notes describe Brooks as bringing an elite, high-motor presence, sideline-to-sideline speed, and explosive tackling power as an off-ball linebacker.
Right, he is the hammer. When those big guys up front force a running back to change direction, Brooks is the missile flying across the field to end the play.
But contrast that with what the Atlanta Legends just did. Atlanta was also targeting their 16th ranked run defense. But instead of signing a downhill hammer, they signed middle linebacker Fred Warner away from the DC defenders.
A massive acquisition.
Warner's resume is insane. Four-time All-Star. Last season, he led DC with 74 tackles, and the season before that, he led them in interceptions with 6.
Which is wild.
How does a guy playing in the middle of the defense pick off 6 passes?
Well, it highlights the difference between these two moves. While Brooks is an explosive tackler, Warner represents the versatile, three-down modern linebacker. Atlanta's front office prioritized his elite hybrid coverage skills, fluid athleticism, and high football IQ over prototypical play strength.
So Atlanta doesn't care if you can't take on a 300-pound pulling guard in the run game quite as well as Brooks can.
Not if you can totally erase the middle of the field in the passing game. Warner gets those interceptions because he reads the quarterback's eyes. He can fluidly flip his hips and run stride for stride with a tight end. Two entirely different philosophies for finalizing a defense.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. We have to talk about the Arizona Wranglers.
Oh yeah, the scenario we opened the deep dive with.
Yes. Head coach Deion Sanders is fine-tuning a defense that is already top 5 in the league. A unit featuring stars like linebacker TJ Watt, defensive lineman Leonard Williams, and cornerback Derek Stingley Jr.
Basically an offensive coordinator's worst nightmare.
And to this completely stacked group, they decide to add defensive lineman Calais Campbell, a 4-time All-Star who is incredibly entering his 19th season in the league.
19 years in the trenches.
The physical toll that takes on a body is just unimaginable. But the sources cite his elite length, high football IQ, exceptional durability, high-end run defense, and consistent interior pass rush. Let's break down how Sanders is actually going to deploy him.
Right, because you don't need a 19-year veteran to play 70 snaps a game. You need him for situational leverage.
Imagine being that opposing quarterback. You're already staring down TJ Watt on the edge.
And now you have a veteran with elite physical stature pushing the pocket from the inside.
He knows every offensive line stunt, every cadence in the AFA. Arizona doesn't need him to be the foundation. They just need him to come in fresh on critical downs, use his immense length, and exert his will. It is a masterful, hyper-targeted strike.
It really is.
So we've covered a massive amount of ground today. And what stands out to me is that the 2026 free agency frenzy highlights completely different paths to AFA success.
Oh, absolutely.
You have DC and Memphis chasing veteran offensive anchors to stabilize their scoring. You have Pittsburgh and Baltimore desperately rebuilding the trenches. And then you have teams like Arizona, San Antonio, and Atlanta making surgical strikes to build these super defenses.
It showcases how specific team building has become. You aren't just acquiring talent. You are acquiring exact mechanical fits.
So what does this all mean? Well, it means that understanding these strategic nuances, knowing why a team wants a space-eating nose tackle instead of a speed rusher or a route runner instead of a deep threat, makes following the season far more rewarding than just checking the standings.
It totally changes how you watch the games. But, looking at all these notes, there's a massive looming trend here.
Yeah.
Nearly every move we discussed today relies on heavily tenured veterans.
That's true. Mahomes is in year 8.
Right. Keenan Allen was drafted in 2014. Calais Campbell is in his 19th season.
Wow, yeah.
So it leaves you wondering, if every single franchise is looking for a veteran savior to just, win now, what does this free agency frenzy mean for the long-term future of the league?
That is a great point.
Is this pursuit of immediate success mortgaging the development of the next generation of AFA stars?
That is a phenomenal, provocative thought to leave you with today. Are these teams sacrificing tomorrow for a trophy today? Keep an eye on how these veteran-heavy rosters hold up as the grueling season unfolds.